Peace and love, y'all. I want to discuss about us, our peoples. It's nothing personal because I don't have no race issues or insecurities, and I really don't care about none of that stuff. But there is something going on in this world against us personally that we don't know about. I wanted to put y'all up on a couple of things. First of all, we have a common ancestor that we don't know who we are and why. And I'm going to link you back to your root. Your root comes from a source that they got hidden from us, that they're never going to tell you. And only way you're going to know is by you meditating and learning through the Akashic records. This now, well, they got it in books, but like I said, you couldn't make the connection without the Akash. But the thing to this, or what we call in the Akash, is the mental too. The thing to this is that we come from a species of light. Light, everything comes from light. So when we talking about genetic wise and all this other stuff, you talking later when light start manifesting itself first in DNA form, and then genetics, atoms, and eventually cells and tissues. But we're talking about the light itself make colors, races. So the black race come from a color band of blue and indigo. That's our color. That's what makes up us. We never looked like we look now. We're tarnished now. Us, our image, our spirit, our soul, everything has been compromised. This is not how we're supposed to look or be. In our natural essence, we would be these purple color beings or blue color beings called indigos. That's where they got the word Indian from. So, like how they got it in all ancient books of wars, like with Hezekiah and all that, they took one group of people and put them in another group in another land and renamed them those people and renamed the people over there those people, saying that the Indians that y'all call Indians is not Indians. Call them the blacks. Y'all is the indigo people. Y'all the black people of America. It's written in books and in old history books. That's who you are. You come from the Alpha and the Omega. And your father's name is Afra, A-F-R-A, Afra. You understand? That's an ascended being that came from the light. The light is done in two ways. We come from what's called the first light. Number one, Alpha. Alpha is a being. They don't tell you that. You see it in the Bible, but that's an entity, a being. He's part of the 7 rays of light. 1 ray of light. Say we in total darkness and 1 ray of light is formed. That 1 ray of light has 9. It's really 9, but they got 3 hidden from us, or 2, whatever is left to 9. And we only know about the 7 of it. That the other is their little demon self that they got against us. That's Vishnu and Shiva and all of them, which is from our line. You understand what I'm saying? So number 1 and the last one, number 7, which is Omega. Omega is a woman. You understand? And that's their theology, was the I am. I is the number 1, meaning Alpha, and am Omega, which is the woman. She is the am in it. So there is a I am theology. This is the Ionians and what's his name? Socrates and Plato practiced that. That's where you get it from in the Bible. That's where you get the beginning and the ending, where they be like, no beginning, Melchizedek. That's our line. That when they say Alpha and Omega, there's a big story to Alpha and Omega. Alpha and Omega was 2 beings. They had 1 child. This child name is Afra. Afra was in Lemuria and was the first ascended being. They gave him Africa and the black race because of his colors. With 1, he was the blue, and Omega was the indigo. They had 1 child. So we started the African Black Indigo Nation. And what we called as demons, we're called the Chaldeans, the Aryans. What else? We come from the strand of Persians. That's what we are, the real Persians, the Philistines, or whatever you call them, the Phoenicians. That's our line. We're different beings. You have what's called angels and you have demons. Angels as demons' enemies. They also come as human being enemies. They ordinance workers for their Most High, which is not the real Most High. It's called a demiurge. Jehovah is what's called a demiurge. He's not the Most High. And so 8 times a year, during the times of the equinox, they do ritual prayers and rituals as what we call holidays that we take and go eat and chill to block our energy that come. Our spirit try to come during a certain time of the year for what they call holidays. When the sun is aligned in a certain direction, it reflects a certain glow from Saturn. Saturn gets its now light from the abyss. That abyss is our world, Tiamat, the dragon, the Titans. That's a whole world in itself. How is that possible? It's simple. In the beginning, when it was only darkness, we came from that part. Our storyline is in there, where you have this guy. They call him, some say he's the fresh water of whatever, or some people say that the female, which was Tiamat, is the salt water. But anyways, this is where you get your story in the Bible as some spirit hovering over the water and all that stuff. That's what that's about. Well, the spirits that made that was Abzu and Tiamat. Tiamat brought about the Titans. That's their kids. Now the Titans was some unruly motherfuckers that was loud, just like urban kids doing their thing. Everybody's living in harmony. But Abzu or whatever was unhappy with that. It was too much noise. He wanted peace and silence back. So he waged a war against the Titans. Tiamat disagreed and said, no, we're not going to let that happen. And so Tiamat sided with the Titans. And Abzu and his peoples killed off all Tiamat, and they burnt the Titans down, killed all of them. This is before creation. This is in the astral world, the building of the astral world, to be exact. That's how it came about. And so now, what wound up happening? Later on, Abzu had other kids. You could count Abzu as like Anu, yes, brother. And so what he did now, after he had his kids, he wound up taking them and terraforming the earth. The Titans' ashes wind up becoming the clay of the earth that they used to form the earth. Now, guess what? You see, you know that's a demiurge, or he's not a real God, because he couldn't create human beings or a man from nothing. Like magic, there you go. He had to take the earth. In other words, you have to read the other stories to understand what is the earth. I like this background right here. Let's rock right here with them chilling. Right? He took this dirt of the Titans, which was their burnt remains, and then he used that to form a human being, the human form. And now with Tiamat, he used her blood. It was only her blood left. And her, not her breath, it was the breath of the Most High, which would be her, you could say the mother, and her breath, and made the woman, Lilith, the first woman, which was a spirit. So those is where now you get your stories from in the Bible and all that stuff of them making Adam and Eve from the clay, and the rib would represent blood. You understand what I'm saying, for the woman. So that's really our story of creation being plagiarized and allegorized over for it to maintain, for their peoples to know the true story. So now, when you realize that those original gods, the Titans and Tiamat, who was killed, that's the great dragon, the mother, they use her blood and the Titan soil to make human beings. So guess what? All of a sudden, something popped up in you. At first, you was a biped robot that just take orders. But all of a sudden, you wind up coming alive and having emotions, feelings, and realize, hey, I'm aware of myself. What am I doing? What's going on? Half your life, you didn't know all of this. This is because the Titans woke up in you. That's because little Tiamat's blood is inside your veins. And that's what we call the black dragon. And that's who you are. Once you awaken and stop following what society follow, you awaken to your conscious state of you being aware that you are you. There is nobody to govern you or whatever. It's time now for you to make your move. So I'm giving you the story of how our history go through Alpha and Omega, the original guys that created just the purple light and the blue light. That's where we come from. We don't come from all those other things. You got other light colors like the yellow, which created the Chinese and their purpose. They had their purpose. We serve the purpose. Every color race serve a particular purpose. So if you don't know your purpose, then you don't understand what's going on. Like the yellow race is for their knowledge, their technological skills. The Chinese, you see what they do. There is no white. That color is brown, yellow, and green. Some funny shit like that make up that Caucasian. And so those now is what is meant for war, ordnance, keeping order. The indigo and the blue is for love, peace, unity. That's what we're doing. That's why we don't participate in what they do. We keep the world going for what we do. But you have to recognize who you are and understand why you the way you are and why we so peace and loving people and dancing and doing these things, because that's our nature. That's what we're trained to do. That's what we was put here to do. Don't get it twisted and try to do what they do. That you're not good at that, but they're not good at what you do. You understand? Everybody have their own context of what they're supposed to do, and you're supposed to stay within the integrity of who you are. That's why you're a black nation, they're this nation, and they're doing this, but you can't see what they do and want to do it too. You can't do, if you're a natural person, you can't go and eat meat and all that just because they eating meat. You got to understand who you are, the integrity of what you're supposed to be here to do, and live your life accordingly to your nature of yourself, because you be going against your own nature. You're not going against them. You understand what I'm saying? They doing what they got to do. Are you doing what you got to do? Do you know what you're supposed to do? Well, this is the awakening, and I'm telling you, that's who you are. So when you hear the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, don't look at it just as, oh, I was the first. No, get that shit out your fucking mind. The beginning is a fucking color of the 7 color spectrum, with blue being the first, number 1, first color, and indigo the last color. The same you will see in any fruits that grow. Those is their color stages that they go through. Now, ascension, simple ascension. Ascension is a fruit. Take a fruit and it's pre-ripe. It's just there. It's kind of green. Now, when you take that fruit and you let it sit it in the sun, it starts to change color. It goes through yellow, orange, red, with red and burgundy, blood red being ripe and sweet inside. Well, when it's ripe and sweet inside, let's take the green one first. It's Corey is corky looking. It's not really anything. It's having solidified. That's you now. Now when you put it in the sun and then it starts turning yellow and the shades that it takes to get to that dark burgundy blood red color, you open it now, it's all moist and juicy and sweet. It's light. It turned to light. It transmuted. That's what you're doing inside your body. You're literally doing alchemy by denying yourself food, denying yourself material things, denying what your body wants. You ripening the fruit and making your inner self turn to that sweet juice. Now, why is that important? Because when the fruit was kind of corky looking and green, not ripe yet, it did not have ancestors on it. It wasn't alive. No spirit is in it yet. But if you look at a fruit that's fully ripe, what it has in it? Sweetness. When you look at sweetness, you're looking at sugar. When you're looking at sugar, you're looking at a controlled substance, something that controls you. So when you look at a sugar or a controlled substance, you're looking at a crystallized entity, an ancestor. So when you eat the fruit ripe, you eating God, you eating the ancestors, literally. I'm serious. Open it and look inside of it. You will see the same entities, form, and shape that you see up in the clouds, or you see when you go into your meditations, or the spirits, or whatever you see. Because that's why they regulate it as a controlled substance. They know what it is. So this is the whole point to this conversation. There's a war going on against you, but you're not conscious of the war and what its effects is. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate right now, because I'm gonna even go, what is water in the bottle? It says spring water on it. Millions of us is buying it. But what is in it? Just because it says spring water on it, you trust in it? You trust in these people? I'm just letting you know. You understand? I'm not trying to make you paranoid or scared, but there is something here to destroy you. It's been destroying you, and it's going to keep destroying you. You know what? When you're talking about happy, happy is a demon that came a long time ago and took that away from you. Peace. There is no such thing as happiness. Those walking around in happiness is those people that fucked you up a long time ago and they're saying, just get over it. Forget about it. We're friends now. That's the past. It's not the past. Your soul and spirit is still trapped up in all of this. You understand? And until you free your soul and spirit, this is your problem, soldier. So you gotta be a general of your own army. You gotta be your own military force. You gotta be your own protection. You gotta be your own source of healing. All of this make you who you are, an Afri. You understand where they got the word Africa from? Where they made up the word Afri again for demons in Arabic. You understand? Just like we originals, they call us Indians. Why you think Christopher Columbus said he went to America and saw Indians there? He came to the Caribbean and saw Indians there. He didn't see those little people. No, he saw you. You understand what I'm saying? You know why? Let me break it down. Arawak. He said he saw the Arawak Indians. We got it twisted. There is no Arawak Indians. Show me a picture of an Arawak Indian. It's a Google write-up. In Jamaica, we never see no damn Arawak Indian. We don't even have an Arawak artifact. It's just a theory here. You know why? Because we're so slow up here. If you look in Arabic, the word is Arawak. A-R-A-A-K or R. That's where they got Arawak from. And he was saying he saw the demons, the indigo demons, the Arawak. The same thing they call them in Persia. The Chaldeans mean demons. The Magi means demons. The original Greeks, before they are the Greek that they are, was a word for demons. Any word which associated with us, it's a demonic word. You see, the Egyptians spoke demotic. You got to understand who you are. It's not sweet. It's not a game. You have an enemy. They're going to chip your ass and monitor your blood and always keep you down so the spirit of Lilith don't rise in you. You got the blood of Lilith. I'm not saying Tiamat right now, and I say Lilith because the first creation of a woman was the form of Lilith, and she opposed the energies of God and whatever they were saying, because when it was time to name her, she said, and before they could even name her, I named myself. My name is Lilith. And everybody was like, nah. And they kicked her out the garden, erased her story, and we get the whole Eve shit. And Eve still got the Kundalini energy come at her as the form of snake, as Enki himself. You understand? So I just want you to understand, we're tied up in Egypt, Sumer, Indians, every story you hear. But you're an Indian. You're the word Indian. Indian don't mean them peoples. Let them go find their own fucking word for that shit. Mix. It's a Mexican, if you want to know. We're the motherfucking Indians, which means indigo, purple. So if you don't know what it means, of course white people are going to come and tell you whatever they want. These people are going to tell you whatever you want, but you need to hear the truth. Because you know why? I'm a very smart man. You can't mess with me when it comes to this knowledge shit. But what I'm saying is, it's nobody representing us as a smart man. We got a bunch of stupid motherfuckers representing us. So let a real motherfucker come and represent you and shut that shit down that they're doing. Because they're doing bullshit to you. And you understand? And y'all believe in that shit. I don't believe none of that shit. And I go research and I find and I prove that there's no way you can't create anything already that wasn't here already. You're just taking it and plagiarizing it. Let's prove all of that. Get on your job and show that everything is from us. You can prove that very simple. Get on your job. University of Conscious Science. One love.